And we are live after a tiny tech fun hiccup. I am so thrilled to welcome today my friend Lydia. Lydia, you're an absolute sunshine. You're what I call a walking sun, and just being around you to me like feels basking in a wonderful summer sun. And yeah, I feel we will let the people that don't know you yet see for themselves. The other ones, the people that already know you, they know. And that's probably the reason why they're here today or watching this replay. But before I introduce you my way, I would love to give you the opportunity to say a few words because you probably know when I start talking, I don't stop for a while. So this is your last time for a few minutes before I introduce you my way.
Oh my goodness, Kevin. Well, I am going to introduce myself first of all by the fact that you and I have known each other for a while, and before we really started to get back on LinkedIn and LinkedIn's new invention and our new inventions of ourselves. So, and you are my brother. You are such a beautiful spirit, and I have a great relationship with you. This started actually when you and I said, "Hey, we want to connect to people. We want to do coaching. We want to do connecting. We want to get that connective vibe going." So that's the first of my introduction. Otherwise, I am a synesthetic hyper creative. Some people may know that and some people may not. That means that I have senses that are combined. I've always been a musician and I see colors and I sense minerality with the parts of music. And I never realized that that was as much of a neurodiversion as it was. I thought that everybody had this. Regardless, it had no bearing. I always wanted to be I always wanted to be a healer. I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I was doing music and I was doing art, and I took the path of least resistance, and I went into music and art, and I performed my little heart out, and I created, and I just created because it was both an insatiable urge, and it was an insatiable urge to better my way of doing it so that I could communicate the most. And that communication ended up being healing in itself. And lo and behold, I still love animals. I love all species. And what I do now is to really hone the connection between people and to take away the barriers and to facilitate us having the energy flow around us together in most the most content and the most beautiful and the most progressive way possible.
I love that. And okay, so for the people that didn't know you yet, obviously, Mike already knew you, as he mentioned you as an amazing person, and that to me is just the tip of the iceberg. Amazing, just getting to know you, actually. But yeah, I love that the way you've explored many fields, you followed your curiosity, your appeals, and just whatever felt right, whatever felt emotionally and centrally, is it in English? Right. You just followed it, and I so enjoy that. And yeah, so we've met through the Mind Valley community, the life certified life coach community, and we've bonded over ikigai. For the people that don't know this Japanese concept of ikigai, you absolutely want to look it up. Unless you already found it, then yeah, just drop it. But you absolutely want to explore ikigai. You presented me, you introduced me to that concept. I probably will butcher that word, eudaimonia, a Greek concept, an amazing Greek concept linked to ikigai somewhat. I met you again with Zion in the Zion's Positivity crew. And I was so thrilled to see you with Zion and follow your absolutely amazing meditations. Like, guys, you absolutely want to try Lydia's meditations. They are wow. Out of this world. So really amazing meditation guide. And yeah, I've also discovered after some time that you were the co-founder of Kudos with our beloved Matt Allen, our magnificent Matt Allen, who just joined us. Also into this amazing Octopus movement, co-founder of the Octopus movement from Perry Noppert. And actually, just a wink. So I'm wearing my special octopus t-shirt. So actually, it's not a real octopus. It's the big evil Cthulhu. If you're familiar with the Lovecraft's work, so it's really not a fun guy. Cthulhu, you want to be as far away as possible of these very evil creatures. But at the same time, it became a meme. It became an amazing meme in the geek culture, in the geek community. So I'm wearing my Cthulhu vibe. I'm doing my best to not be evil. Don't worry, guys. I'm not really part of any cult, but still. So it was my way to celebrate Octopus, the Octopus vibe, my special way.
I think it's a perfect introduction, Kevin, because what I believe, and I could change my mind, but is that we don't really have evil. Now, I'm just forgiving enough and just compassionate enough to even say, what's really behind this Cthulhu fellow? And while I may not want to be near, there's something going on there, and I'm curious about it. So when you mentioned curiosity, yeah, that is a lot of it. But also, the octopus is such a great example because the octopus is otherworldly, right? It has 9 brains, it has 3 hearts, and it's actually able to use tools. It is brilliant. It changes colors. It is an amazing creature. And it's not very much like the rest of life on Earth, right? Is it evil? It's different. Is it evil? No. And so many things that we see as other are, if not evil, scary. But when we feel into that fear, we get all that cortisol going on, and then we start seeing the evil, and we do that with one another. And I don't feel like that's our natural state. That's something that's been brought up a lot by culture and by our media. And I'm not blaming the media. It's just that we see it all the time. So, it really brings up that other evil, whereas other is like uncertainty, right? And uncertainty, this is something I say all the time, but is the sum of all possibilities. So I love the shirt, and that's where it brought me. So thank you for letting me rant for
No,
another.
and I love it. And actually, yeah, it's part of one other bonds we have, that we are both multi passionate and multi potentialite. And yeah, actually, I'm not sure, but I assume you are neurodivergent as well, somewhat. And we apparently have the same way of thinking, the arborescent thinking. You throw us one bone, one wisdom bone or anything that triggers our curiosity, and then we go
Yeah.
very octopus like so.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking of it. For me, I notice that I can go in deep, but I'm very much an overarching thinker. I'm very much a 20,000-foot thinker. So I put things together from above, and that's where I do my sort of I see that Matt, you're in the wrong room. There's no cult meeting today. Um, you have to find the secret door. Anyway, um, we for me, yeah, some of the more linear things that I do with that kind of multi-potentiate thinking is um, I do board development. That's something that I'm doing in Kudos, and um, I do contract writing. That's one of the more boring things that I do, but it's because of curiosity, and then I feel like those things are incredibly important, because when we have contracts that are clear and not lugubrious and not convoluted, that it helps both sides, and it makes clarity, and it keeps things friendly. So I'm strong about that kind of thing. Mostly it all comes down to removing barriers and diplomacy.
Yeah, removing barriers yeah, that's beautiful. I really love that way of yeah, opening, following open-mindedness and really welcoming others and connecting over differences. I feel it's one of the most powerful uh, powers that we have as multi-passionate. Connect things that apparently don't seem related, and to be able to bridge differences much easier than other people. At least it's my belief. I might be wrong. So yeah, I really love that. So I'm not sure it's what you meant really, but it's more what, once again, multi-passionate and neurodivergent. It's what was triggered in my mind. It's the rabbit hole I followed. And just before we moved on, because the other thing you see, we're starting to go back and forth and play ping pong, Lydia and I. So it will probably stay that pace for a while. So before I forget, as I just did before, I would love to welcome warmly our dear audience, at least the commenters in the audience. So we have Sharon, Maria Elena, Craig, Nadine, Mike, Matt, Jane, and Claudia so far. And guys, if I haven't mentioned you, it just means you haven't commented yet. No pressure. You don't have to, no worries. But just say hi, drop your name. Just a good morning, good afternoon, good evening would be like a ray of sunshine for us and for everybody else in the room. And actually, if you're feeling playful and if you're feeling appealed to know better Lydia your way, why not asking a question? I invite you to ask any form of question, even cult related, as Matt started the trend, and Lydia will I'm sure make a pleasure to answer. So okay, I see Matt is on fire today. You're being naughty. Yeah, you're always kind of naughty in my book, Matt, but the right kind of naughty, the childlike naughty. So please keep going.
So yeah, we can answer that. The octopus movement is kind of like a cult. Absolutely. It's the best cult you could be in, because it's the most open and non-judgmental cult that you could be in. And that's a little bit edgy in our world, right? To be non-judgmental. Yeah, and we have cult meetings where we solve problems, and we have and we're very accepting and open and curious about that 10% that everybody is connected in everything they say. So yeah, pretty cult-like.
Yeah, but we better define that cult meaning, and to in that case there are good cults and bad cults, probably. So your point is to elevate humanity, humankind, and absolutely not profit from it, which is in my book what most cults, at least bad cults or evil cults, are into. But okay, let's go a little bit further from the cult thing. Oh, we might come back to it. I see some people are interested in that. And I actually, just fun fact, I had a coffee chat earlier today with someone that mentioned one of her mates has a new webinar titled "How to Create My Cult." I'm not kidding you. Like, it was literally, and the point is to be extremely polarizing, to trigger people. So, but just in a fun way, in a fun container. So, just wanted to mention that it's very interesting synchronicity.
Right. Oh, there's a magnetic appeal to it, right?
Yeah, and like I love words and I love sounds, and you as a musician, of course, you're fascinated by music, also musical, the music of words, and cult, like the word cult in itself, I feel has a very interesting ring. What the meaning of it? I'm like, okay, let's be sure what you're talking about. But the word in itself, like pony is one of my favorite words, both in English and in French. I love the sound of it. Like, just the sound makes me cheerful. It just like it puts me in a nice place. Pony
Yeah.
to me is like, oh, all right. It feels rainbows and butterflies, already, something like that. So I just wanted to mention that.
I
Okay.
feel little birds in that word.
Yeah,
Little
exactly.
birds flitting around and doing the unexpected.
And yeah, I feel it kind of elevates the mood of the person that pronounce it and the person that listen to it at the same time. So I feel it's very powerful. And yeah, actually, in the many things we ever discussed, I feel, I would love to know about you. So one of my beliefs really linked to the Scandinavian traditions, the Viking traditions, that words not only hold power, but they are literally power themselves. Like words in themselves are power. So I don't know how you stand about it, how you feel about it.
That's interesting. I do follow. Um, I know some rune languages, some Elder Fulthark, and some of the different runes, and a lot of them are for the reason of creating an alignment in ourselves. So I'm in a way, polarization is similar to alignment. It's like it's not going against something, and it's not being it's not something that is this or that, but that when you really actually align yourself to it instead of just reacting to it, that it's like getting all of the ions going in the same direction, right? It attracts us to where we want to go. And so the in some of the ancient Scandinavian traditions, there's like I have a water cut that my son made me of a symbol that we really like, and it's called Velvisir, and it looks kind of like a snowflake, honestly, but not a symmetrical snowflake. And what it has is many different runes, so that you won't lose your way, so that you will always have your way. And what it's doing is it's in essence aligning you um to be able to respond well to evil, to not have things that are butting up against you that you can't handle, and to have flow in what you're eating, and many different things. It has many different hands to it. I don't want to totally go into something that isn't, completely my area of expertise here, but that's I really I'm drawn to those things that have to do with um our alignment, and aligning ourselves to ease and flow. And it's something I used to bash myself about. I used to say I take the path of least resistance, and I need to work harder. Um and oh my god, I've worked hard in my lifetime. I have had things that have come very easy to me compared to other people, but I could say they came at a price. And to take the things are that feel like ease and flow, that is that's a sort of innate intelligence, and a sort of alignment to our intuition, to our gut, to our soul, of what we're going to be most aligned with, and how we can flow in the best way, and to try to reinvent that is kind of arrogant. How can we possibly how can we possibly reinvent that? So I think it's all about flow.
It's so powerful. I love that. Like, yeah, flow. Like, and that one, that's very interesting, because I feel flow, like success, probably has a unique meaning to anyone. Most of us, we kind of tend to have pre-made packages like success. Most people just piggyback on their culture's meaning for success, and they don't question it. But actually, when you go a little bit inside, you realize, hey, you know what? My notion of success has nothing to do, or only partly to do with the cultural acceptation of that. I feel flow, it's kind of the same. I feel flow can have multiple meanings. Just, I would love to bounce on what you just said about alignment. It triggered a very interesting thought. Just want to welcome our friend Lisa here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you enjoy this convo. And like, yeah, to me, it's just another day with Lydia, right? Like every time we do that, we're just having sparks flying all over. But yeah, so just welcome in our world. I'm so happy that you're enjoying this conversation. And so yeah, back to that notion of alignment. There is I believe that like most, if not all, education systems, the French education system is very deeply broken and very inefficient on many ways.
Yeah.
There is, though, something extremely powerful that still still remains. I have no idea how they didn't erase it, because it's super powerful, and it goes, to me, it goes against their intentions with the system. And it's called thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And the idea basically is you come with an idea or an hypothesis, and you first explore the positive side of things. You explore what should work, what could work with your initial idea. And then you go antithesis. You look for all the reasons why it should go wrong, all the reasons why your idea couldn't work. And so basically, you step into the shoes of your haters, of your contradictors, of all the people that could tell you, hey, you know what? No, this is wrong. You should drop that now, please. And then you end with synthesis. You kind of mix them both, and you okay. So who's winning? Who's have the last word in that conversation? Mm-hmm. And I feel that by doing that ourselves, by putting ourselves in the shoes of our contradictors, it's extremely powerful, because first it allows us to have another take on that and really reflect on our initial idea. Plus, it gives you the habit of stepping into someone that is really absolutely on the other side. So you accustom yourself of being in the shoes, like for example, it would be like, to me, one of my dark sides would be a racist. Someone that would be a racist, to me, that would be kind of the opposite of me, right? And by stepping into the shoes of a racist and trying to understand, okay, but what led them become that person? What led them to be overridden by hatred and all those things? Is there a story? So it allows me to understand them better. And actually, by exploring that other side, it allows me to be more aligned, to both understand their reasons, not validate their reasons necessarily, but at least understand where it's coming from, and questioning my own way. And by questioning my own way, I'm able to feel, okay, no, you know what? I like my way, or my way is mostly good, but thanks to that new take, you know what? I will tweak it and refine it. And okay, that's very interesting. It just gave me a new key. I had no idea. A new light. I had no idea. So I feel actually by exploring the other sides, it can allow us to be much more aligned in ourselves. I don't know how it resonates with you.
Yeah. So many thoughts as you were speaking. There, one of the things that I do, Kevin, is to question my assumptions. It's sort of one of my tenets of who I am. It's one of my values, is to question my assumptions, especially when things are going really well. And when things are don't seem aligned, but when I'm sure that I'm right, when I'm sure I'm on the right path, when I feel, when my heart and my gut and every hair on my body feels like everything is right, we'll question my assumptions. That's exactly what you were talking about. When we question, what is it really? And it's a great way to say, who is against me? What is against me? And even question that, like, what else could be against me? What else could be for the way that I'm thinking? It's an incomplete exercise, right? We can never know everything. And thank goodness, because oh my goodness, that's what makes life good. When we are, same with when we are in adversity, well, what part of this is me? Is this all being done to me? Is there a way that I can affect this? Is there a way I can change something? Like, take babies. who are born into the world, and they basically have two tools. One is that they can smile, and the other is that they can cry. And after that, everything they're figuring out, what is the reaction to my smile? Look, this person likes to pick me up when I smile. What is the reaction to my crying? This person likes to feed me when I'm crying. And then you start to get all these other tools, right? Similar when we are just observing as much as a baby does. A baby is not sitting there being a lump of nothing yet. A baby has all the tools. It's one of the greatest things I found that I figured out because I wasn't, a oh, let's have lots of babies and be in that motherly thing. That wasn't so much who I was. I said, if you have a child, I want to get them right to being a teenager when they're full of, all the things that they believe and they want. But I had one child, and with that one child, I recognized that immediately he was exactly who he was, right as a baby, and a lot of figuring out what he was aligned to, what he wanted, and what he saw was based on how he reacted to things and how we responded, and how does our world now respond to us, and how do we respond to it, and how else can we what else can we do to respond to that, to align to that, to say, what is other? What is other in a corporation? What is other in a race? What race am I really? How does it affect me? How does it affect me, my relationship to other creatures? How does it affect me, my relationship to the environment? How does it affect me, my environment's relationship to me, and other people's relationship to me? And am I bad in seeing something that's other? These are the going and figuring out your intrinsic biases. It's not a cut and dried thing. It's something. One of the first things we respond to is fear, and that's okay, because it keeps us safe. Helps us to jump out of the way when we're about to be hit by a truck, and it helps us to dodge when there's a bird that's of prey that's coming down from the sky and is about to land on our head. We can do these things, but we don't need to sit in that fear. We don't need to hold it with us. We can say, okay, I still have all my resources. I still have all of my capabilities, and I can find other things, other people, other truck drivers and birds of prey that I see awe in these birds of prey. I love, they're not mostly, trying to jump on my head, and the truck drivers are not mostly trying to run me over, and actually a lot of them are lovely people. So, this is, I love the it's interesting to me that that's actually a part of the of the system of learning in French society, to say what is the shadow side, it's beautiful. I approve.
No, yeah, it's extremely powerful. I know some people are very afraid, which makes sense to explore their darker side, because yeah, it smells, it looks ugly. You're like, oh no, I'm not going there. But actually, yeah, there's so much strength, and actually making peace with it is incredibly powerful. Like some people call it shadow work, and it's very very powerful. Yeah, actually, I already mentioned that. Personally, I see three sides, not only two: a light, a dark, and a wild one. A white, a black, and a red side. So I also have my feral side, my wild feral side, and with that, I feel complete. I feel whole, and all of them deserve some respect and love and exploration and nurturing. And yes, the dark side, you don't want it to take over. You have to be very cautious, right? Because yeah, and actually the same. You don't want to have the light taking over or the wild taking over. Otherwise, you'll get in trouble. Different types of trouble, but you'll get in trouble anyway.
I mean,
So
we just start
yeah,
getting misaligned, right? Like
exactly. No, exactly. And actually, so very first, I would love to say a big giant welcome to our friend Melissa that just joined. Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining. Always such a pleasure to see you here or anywhere, actually. And yeah, I don't know if you, Lydia and Melissa, you're connected. You want to fix that if you're not ready. And we have a question from Jane, which always has the best questions. And actually, it's very linked to that dark side exploration. We just touched, very delicately. It could go for hours, right? It's a very deep one, but let's go for that one if you're game.
yeah, sure. So, how does one tackle fearful, intrusive thoughts that prevent us from growth? This is it's something that, again, it's something in which those fearful and intrusive thoughts are there for a reason. They're responding to something. So what are they responding to? Is, you may have heard the the adage, what we go through, we grow through. But there's sometimes, I'll give you an example. I'm kind of, in some ways, what I call a bootstraps girl. I get through it, and then I'm done, and I go on, and I lift myself up by my bootstraps. However, you can do that, but not go through all the parts of whatever it is that has made you fearful. And when we don't do that, they'll hit us at some point. They will either, these are where people get triggers. Triggers, I love triggers because they tell me what I haven't dealt with. I don't get triggered. I supposedly have CPTSD, but my CTPSD isn't in the form of triggers. It's been in the form of ways in which I create the barriers around myself based on those fears and those intrusions that are intrinsic to my belief. So if I take those, if I can't figure out how to get rid of those barriers, because Humans love our barriers. We are very snuggly with our barriers. We've been sleeping with our barriers our entire life. Our barriers are like our teddy bear. They're like our brother. They're like our mother. There, we like our barriers, and we also have been sort of bashing against them for our whole lives. So if we have something in which we're just actually bashing ourselves, that's actually not natural. It's normal, but it's not natural. So those things intrude, and if they intrude, yay, where are they coming from? Where are they really coming from? What can we look at that happened maybe when we were really formative, which absolutely happened. Absolutely, whether it was intentional or not, that we got hurt. We got abused. We got hospitalized. We got bullied. Take those thoughts and really go in deep and recreate that situation to create new pathways of how we respond to other things. Because most of our fearful and intrusive thoughts have to do with something that happened, and maybe happened for years. But regardless, if it happened for years, it was happening in a situation which was just surrounded us, right? Like these barriers and it just became the way we were. And like I said before, just because we may have almost gotten hit by a truck, does that make all truck drivers suspect? Does that make all trucks suspect? Is everybody in the world going to bully us? No, and we won't see it that way when we actually go through that and say, that's what's going on. So that's how I deal with fearful and intrusive thoughts. And it'll be like that for the rest of my life. Something will come up and I'll say, I'm not thriving. I'm not thriving, or I'm not going into this path with quite the ease and flow that I ought to be able to do. And think, it ought to be able, should I do that? Can I? Is there some other way? Or is there something that's blocking me? And it may be that I expect that everything like that is going to require a hospitalization, or require an abuse or a bully, and they don't. But somewhere in there, we believe that they do. That in order to go through that, it requires some sort of struggle.
Yeah, that's a very powerful answer. I love what you just said. We tend to turn things into a struggle when it's absolutely not necessary. Back to the flow, right? We tend to complexify the flow, to over complexify the flow when it's absolutely not needed. And it's linked to what you mentioned that beautifully, actually, that babies were already born with all the tools. And I already mentioned the absolutely fantastic work of Shirzad Chamine and his positive intelligence. And it's his premise that we've been born sage. We've been born pure light with all the best tools in the universe at our disposal. And then it goes haywire. And then as we grow up, we have experiences and traumas and challenges that makes us build layers. It would be like clouds in front of the sun that we are. And actually, at some point, all our work, and it would be kind of summing up personal development, our work is kind of dissolve the clouds, or live with some clouds, because hey, you know what, actually they look nice, I love the shape, so I will keep that one just smaller in just in a corner, and just kind of reshape your reality, and get back to your sage, and basically just get back to where you started. So actually we started in pure flow, and then life happened, and we kind of catching up, and trying to rebuild a little bit, like that other Japanese amazing tradition of kintsugi, right? We had the porcelain was beautiful, magnificent, and whole. It got shattered in our early years, and then hey, you know what? Let's create a new version of this porcelain that actually will be even more beautiful.
And
And
stronger.
yes, weirdly shaped, sure, but actually it would be part of the beauty. So yeah, I feel it's very interesting. I really love your answer, and thank you again, Jane, for all your amazing answers. Oh, and we have Isabelle Fortin, mon petit cœur canadien, that just joined us. Thank you so much, Isabelle, for joining us. Always such a pleasure to see you. And hey, you know what? I believe it's the first. I already got close to that one. We're already three-quarter into this conversation. I haven't asked one question that, I usually have a list of questions I prepare. I didn't get and I guess we will just do another one later. So guys, if you specifically came to the answers of my questions, you know how I like to tease in my announcements. Well, I'm sorry, it didn't happen. We'll do another one today, because I want to finish on two things. Very first, we had a question from Matt Allen earlier. He would like to know how to join the occult, and for the people that joined, that didn't join from the get-going. So the occult actually is the Octopus movement, and it's not a cult, not a real cult, not to worry. So how to join the Octopus movement, and how to join not the cult dose but the kudos, and Matt was extra playful today. So and then I would love for you to explain what's cooking up. I know you have something brand new that is cooking up for you, so I would love for you to explain. So it's not from the Octopus or the kudos movement. So we have like 12 minutes to cover it up.
All right, let's go. So the Octopus movement is, you can find us at octopusmovement.org, and we have a group of worldwide group of non-linear thinkers. And what is that? What is a normal way? What is a neurodivergent way of thinking? What is a neurotypical way of thinking? Basically, the way I look at this in a nutshell is, what's typical? Typical is a statistic, is it like all the people who drive blue Subarus and who like milkshakes and red roses, or you can't say what is typical. There's some statistic that may mean that something is liked the most, and another one that something else is liked the most. And there's going to be a cross section of some people who like both, but not all of them. There's no typical. And that's our very thing, is that we have a system that we all live in. Nature is a system. Systems aren't horrible. But when we boxed in by systems that tell us that we need to think in this, that, or the other way, that we need a car, or that we need to wear heels, or that we need to wear a tie, or that we need to work in order to make a living, and it needs to be in the family business, or those things that are because of systems. And we start questioning. I think pretty much everybody in this audience is questioning and has questioned, hey, that's not my way. Well, that's starting to look at something in a non-linear way. You bounced out of that line. You bounced out of, and it's not always that simple. What it is it's extremely accepting. So go to octopusmovement.org. My favorite part is the think tank, where we solve some of the big P problems in the world for companies and even governments and organizations that give them to us and say, can you think about this for us? Because we're in this system and we've got our heads wrapped around it, and it's not working. If you like that kind of stuff, come join us. We also have a mission of solving all the world's problems in a non-linear way. So then there's also Kudos, and Kudos is Matt Allen. He has been here asking questions, and Matt is the visionary founder of Kudos. And this vision was developed long ago, but really has come to fruition here on LinkedIn, because he went throughout the world. Well, I shouldn't say that. Throughout the UK, and found that people said, no, you can't do that. You can't solve the world's problems that simply. And basically, he knew he was aligned, and he is aligned. He knew that, yeah, I can solve those problems this simply, but I need a lot of people. So he came to LinkedIn, and a lot of you are also linked to Matt Allen on LinkedIn. But we have just launched a new website, and that is Kudos Miracles and .com. And wait, or is it .org now? Matt can jump in. And that website, it has just launched, and you can find out more. You can also, okay, it is .com. I was sorry that I threw in .org at first. You can come to that website. You can see how you can be involved. Right now, we have a lot of interest in spearheading homelessness in a way that gives people options, a lot of options for growth and for stability in our society that tends to say there's one way to do something, and it's not even possible to jump up to that way to do it. So kudosmiracles.com. Join us. It is both of these organizations are a ride and a journey, and dare I say, a joyful path toward us going toward a better way in which we are aligned and respected. And let's see, what was the third part? Oh, what I'm doing. So one thing that you mentioned, Kevin, was that if you haven't been to one of my meditation rooms, to come. And I was just over in the Netherlands and then in Spain, and I didn't, for a few weeks, I didn't do the meditation rooms. But what those have been is the Monday meditation with Lydia, and it's an audio room in which I It's less of a guided meditation, and it's more my special way of, it's my thing that I do. One of the things that I do is to to ground us and align us, and to actually bring our minds and our bodies together, really bring presence, so that we can heal, so that we can communicate, so that we can focus, so that we can thrive. A lot of what keeps us spinning is our head spinning, and we're not aligned in ourselves because we're not even present in our bodies. We know it's there, but we're reacting and we're in our minds. So I very quickly do in the audio rooms, about 15 minutes, I just align you to peace and flow using ASMR, hypnotic suggestion, and guided imagery and vibrational healing with Tibetan and crystal bowls. And that's what the website that's up there right now is, my new website, which in a few days, I'm very excited, I'm going to launch my membership. And that is, I still have courses and stuff, but the membership is a really low price point, easy to navigate, self-guided journey in which you can go to any offerings at any time of day or night, plus have online support, so that you can align yourself to be calm when you have anxiety, to have peaceful sleep when you're not getting any, to be more aligned in the flow of your body, your hormones, your natural cycles. All of these things can be affected by you when you have something that you're aligned to. And I'm not saying it's for everybody. It's for people who actually respond to my way of doing this. There are a number of ways to do this. I highly recommend just taking your shoes off and walking around outside. And just that is going to help a lot of people. But where I can help, I would love to welcome you into my membership. The last thing I didn't mention, Kevin, is that the Octopus movement is going to be starting to sponsor and provide guided meditations. There's the global meditation that happens on Sunday, and that's just everybody being together, whether you're online or not, and being in the spirit of humanity and of the Octopus movement. And that's a beautiful thing in itself. And then the other thing that they're offering is, with me, the guided meditations, so that people who like to be guided, because there's not one way. This is not instructional. It's not anything but providing an atmosphere for you. So ring my bell if this interests you, and I will keep you informed of the different ways to align yourself and be in that atmosphere.
I love that. Thank you so much for this invitation. And so, yeah, guys, if you never enjoyed a meditation with Lydia, I warmly invite you to at least try it out and see, maybe join us in Zion's room on Fridays in Paris time, so CET, it's 8 p.m. So it would be 6 p.m. UTC, I believe, 6 p.m. UTC.
Yep, and 2 p.m. East Coast United States,
2 p.m.
and 11 a.m. West Coast United States.
It's a wonderful experience. And do you still host your Monday meditations?
I So I haven't for the last few weeks because I was away, and I
Right.
let those go, but they are going to start up again soon, and that's a more more cult me. Yes, the cult the grounding cult will
Yeah.
start again on Mondays. That is always at 10 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. On the West Coast, and that's at 3 p.m. in British summertime, and 4 p.m. for CET, and 10 p.m. in China. I think it's 7:30 in India.
Okay.
So it hits everybody.
Yeah. So now it's time to wrap up, but yeah, just want to mention to Matt, be careful about what you wish for, because it might actually happen. We might create a proper cult just for you, Matt, and believe me, you're not ready for that, or anyone else, actually. And I forgot to mention that another cult, nah, not a real cult, but another amazing group that actually now is sponsoring my show, and I'm super happy, and thank you so much, Mike, for the Hounds of Business community you created, Isabel for being his amazing right hand, and all the wonderful people on the leader team, CJ, and all. You're absolutely wonderful. So yeah, big shout out to my beloved Houndies. The Hounds of Business community, if you never heard about them, you absolutely want. If you're an entrepreneur, and especially a solopreneur, you absolutely want to, at least to meet the Hounds and their very weird leader, Mike Ashabrana, the redneck financial coach and connector. So yeah, but enough of all our friends and all our cults, which are not. Promise, it's not nothing like a cult. We have cookies, though. We do have cookies. That's
Cookies.
a good point.
Yeah, always cookies.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much, Kevin.
thank you to accept my invitation. I was so happy to have you on this show, Lydia. You are, as I mentioned, you're a beautiful walking sun. Just being around you is just levels up our mood. At least mine. I don't know about you, Pips, but to me it works like magic. So once again, I haven't covered just one question I prepared. So we will probably have a follow up sometime in the future, and I'm
You did
definitely looking
answer.
forward.
You did ask a question regarding the Scandinavian culture, but maybe that
No,
was an
yeah.
off the cuff one.
Yeah, exactly. No, like none of my initial plan, and that's okay because that's why I call my set of questions guidelines, right? I don't feel obliged to follow them, but still, like not even one. Ah, you're kidding me. So I will see how it's. Oh, I love that. Yeah, this one I have to share. Matt just had an amazing idea. The cookie cult, I see myself as a cookie monster, and I wish actually is very big. No, I'm gluten intolerant, so actually cookies. Yeah, I have to be smart to eat my cookies now, but still, I can get some.
Impromptu cookie maker. So I'm an improvisational cookie maker, and we can make you just the right cookie to make you feel good.
Yes. Yes, so I can't wait, and yeah, hope we get to meet in person as soon as possible whenever the stars are aligned. So once again, it was a deep pleasure, Lydia. Folks in the replay, I hope you will enjoy it. Team replay, we love you. as well. Yes, we can't enjoy your comments during the live, but we still love you and hope you will enjoy our convo, Lydia and I. So until next week, I will welcome Ray Ramsey. We will go all the way to Tomorrowland, a country of kangaroos and kiwis. It's going to be lots of fun as well. So thank you again. And to all of you in the audience with your comments and love and shares and questions. And until next time, bye-bye.